that you need and get your gear and all that. And it's not that I thought I was nuts, because I know I heard it from random people that were around me that girl's going to get raped. And I would turn around and, me being the only female being, getting gear, we're not talking about a male, I'm assuming they're not. So I was questionable at first, but when I started hearing it every day, like on a daily basis from my own platoon sergeant, I was, I started to get a little worried. So, but I wasn't afraid of what they were going to do. It just seemed like they were trying to intimidate me. But my platoon sergeant, one morning, came to me and we talked about the day's events, because at that point in time I was being groomed to be an NCO, to be a leader. And we were talking about the events that were going to happen that day, and he had a strange look on his face, and he just looked me up and down, and, just looked me in my eyes and said, "Have you seen the movie Gothica?" And looked at me like I should get it. But I was stunned. And then he walked away from me.
The movie Gothica?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yes, I'm thinking to myself, that movie is about rape and beating women and killing them. So, and it was just the way he looked at me was offensive. So, and then I continued to hear about I'm going to get raped, that girl's going to get raped, and then they stopped it it went on for like 2 months, and then it stopped cold turkey, just stopped. And that's when I started having problems with my platoon time, because I guess I wasn't getting into the, I guess, I want to say advances, but they weren't advances, they were like suggestions, I'll say. Because he was very careful about how he said things. And it got so bad that I had to be removed from my unit and put into another unit because of the insinuations of the rape and they have these cliques. They're cliques of sex rings, I'll just say.
Sex rings?
Participate.
Sex rings?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't participate, like I said, if you don't participate in negative things that go on, you are chastised. So, and I think they also looked at it as a way of breaking me. That, if that happened to me, if I was raped, then that would break me so that I would be more submissive to the process of the military, So that didn't go over very well, and I fought back a lot. I fought back on their terms, but I didn't make it to NCO, and they did move me out of that platoon. So, and by that time I was going through my medical discharge, and I was discharged medically, but during that time of me fighting these advances, I was befriended by one of the soldiers that was running the barracks. And I think he was trying to find out how much I knew, and I was trying to find out what he knew. So I allowed that to go on and find out information to help myself. And he said to me, just talking to me candidly, he said, Cynthia, I hope you don't believe what they're saying about you, because it's not about your looks. It's about the fact that they can't touch you the way they want. I said, I hope you understand that. And I said, I do. And at the time, I didn't even want an explanation, so that this is just how things are. And the last thing he said to me was, whatever you do when you leave here, do not live alone. And it frightened me a little bit. I was like, I don't think I caused that much trouble for someone to hurt me physically.
What I found with gang stalkers is you're not a bad person. You didn't do anything. They are just very angry, and they come after you, and I'm glad that you don't live alone, because I did live alone and I was raped. So what they're telling you is very true, and my gang stalkers are part of a sex ring also here in Chicago. And it sounds very similar to what you're talking about. And I don't think you or any other victim should feel guilty, because I've dealt with these people for a long time, and I know what they do. They operate on guilt. They try to make you feel guilty about what they're doing to you, when in fact they're the ones who feel guilty. So victims out there should not feel guilty at all. It is nothing that they did. It just happens to be this group of people who wants the world to operate, the way they want it to. And for some reason, we're not going with the plan, so they're going to make our life miserable. So you don't deserve to be hurt physically, and there is nothing that you did. These people are just like that. And if the listeners go to the websites and they read, they'll find out. These people just target anyone. But I have read, bullies especially, will target very kind-hearted, nice people with good morals. They really go after them.
I mean, I've lost a lot of friends. I mean, I guess I can't call them friends. Maybe they were acquaintances or people who spoke well of me. And I've lost them. I've lost my reputation, which I worked hard for. It's a pretty hurtful thing, people that you used to know can't even look at you anymore. And it makes you realize, of course, who your friends really are, and you may not have had any. If they can't even question what information's in front of them, as far as you knowing that person for so many years, you can't even question information that's brought to them, whether it be false or it be true. You would question it. My common sense tells me to, in the military, you learn to rely on your own information, not what someone else brings to you. And it just seems common sense to question not normal. And these people aren't doing that. And I don't know, it's very sad.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You lose your friends, and sometimes you lose your livelihood. Almost always, you lose your ability to make money. Were you working, or do you have a job right now?
No, I am looking for a job, and I'm just trusting in the Lord. Take away from me, because that's all I ever did was work. So I'm going to rely on the Father to guide me through that, because I will have my disability, but I still am young as far as I'm concerned, and able to work, and I will.
I think you told me before the interview tonight that you were in IT. Are you an IT person?
I'm a network analyst.
A network analyst, okay.
Right. In school right now, finishing up, but prior to the military, I had 10-plus years in the corporate world of IT. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of experience, and I don't know how things are going to work out, but I'm just going to remain enthusiastic and stay in prayer, and Lord will make a way for me.
Okay. What's your plan when you finish up school?
Okay.
What is your plan when you finish school? Do you think you'll be able to find a job? Or do you think they're causing problems for you?
It's so hard to say without proof. Like I said, they're usually a step ahead of me, because I did listen to Lieutenant Shine's interview, and he mentioned Project Echelon and the Carnival program. And if you're familiar with those programs monitor everything that you do on the Internet, every email that you make, every address that you go to. They know exactly what you're doing or what you're planning before you go do that. So they can hear everything that you're saying. They can see every email, everybody that you have contact with electronically. They're a step ahead of you. And these programs that kind of were in Project Echelon we're supposed to be, I'm assuming, designed for our enemies. But, technology falls in the wrong hands, just like these energy weapons.